Hello again, this is Tony from Fountain Creek Wood Art. This is an inventory of some things I've been working on and am working on. And as you can see, I got some of my stuff sitting on that table we just talked about. Like I said, I work with reclaimed wood and high voltage electricity, so a little view of the inventory, alright? Once again, I gotta give you that disclaimer. This stuff is dangerous. Don't do it. Anyhow, this is a picture frame I made from recycled privacy fence. I just sanded it up, cleaned it up real good. Went with a natural patina on it. And I think I'm just going to put some tung oil on it and call it good. And put on the mounting hardware. This is basically the same wood, except I put some high voltage to it and made these little highlights here and there that you can see. And I got one coat of tung oil on it. I'm starting to like the tung oil because it doesn't stink up the garage as much and mess my head up. And I don't like it when my head's messed up. Right here is a picture frame I made out of Baltic birch plywood that is 3/4 of an inch thick. Just let the pictures speak for themselves a little bit. And there you go. Here's another one I made out of the fence wood that I have not electrocuted or anything. And I've got one coat of the tung oil on it, and I can do other things to it, but I'm not doing it right now because that's just the way it goes. Here's another one I made out of the Baltic birch plywood. I electrocuted it and just put a few little highlights in there in the burn marks, and it comes with a backer board that I started zapping, and I said, oh, I don't like that. And if you don't like that, well, hell, you got a plain old backer board there you can flip around. Here's a couple more I did. Smaller picture frames that come with the plexiglass front in it, so if it falls over, the glass ain't going to shatter. This was made with the recycled fence. And I took my favorite color, magenta, to these two guys here. And did some highlights after I electrocuted it. And then I put some cayenne blue, like right there, in various spots here and there. And I call the cayenne blue neon blue. And I go with the magenta, I call that electric blue. Once again, I got the same thing going on here. Same colors, same wood, except these frames are a little bit bigger. Sometimes I have issues with putting in the plexiglass fronts because it creates a lot of glare. I don't want to put glass in there and be held responsible for something crashed and getting somebody hurt. Here's another frame I made out of the fence wood. And I just have the backer board in there. I did little highlights on it and got one coat of tung oil on it. And I really like how that knot there turned out. And that knot there. And how the grain really opened up with the tung oil on it. And I just got a first coat on it. I'm still working on it. Here's another frame I made out of the Baltic birch plywood. I put that groove down there just for little highlights and spice things up. And yeah, it's kind of cool. Kind of basic, but cool. Here's something I experimented with. It was a made out of MDF, 3/4 inch. I thought maybe I could turn it into a mini Lazy Susan, or I could use it right now as a serving tray of some sort. And I did the same thing with this one, MDF. a few little highlights here and there. And once again, if I can find a Lazy Susan small enough for that, the base rotating thing, I'll turn that into a Lazy Susan. But I gotta correct myself. I made this out of 3/4 inch Baltic birch plywood, and I just put some white highlights in there. As you can see, the electricity really wants to flow with the grain, but when it gets up here going against the grain, it really struggles. And just enough little highlights here to lighten up things and all that. And I finished these two guys, this one and that one, with tung oil. Some other gizmos I made over here is another serving tray. I haven't put the handles on it yet, but just to mess around here. I had some scrap wood I didn't feel like tossing away, so you know, it's nice and smooth. And I made this top piece here. That was some old lathing from some privacy fence dividers. Sanded it smooth, and I highlighted it, you know, got it electrocuted. Another serving tray. I kind of went with the centering pattern on this one. If you look at a couple of these, I took some effort to mirror the image on it, like right here. Yeah, kind of cool, huh? And I mirrored these two guys here. Once again, I was working with some scrap wood, and I worked with the best that I could. So that's it on that. And I put bumpers on the bottom of it so you don't scratch up things. Couple more serving trays I got here. I made this one here out of the Baltic birch plywood, 3/4 inch thick, and I put a light coat of golden oak on it, and then I topped it off with some tung oil. Oh no, before I put the tung oil on it, I put a light coat of a golden oak stain on it. So I just some people think I go over the edge a little bit too much with my painting and stuff. Yeah, but I like that kind of stuff. Here's another one I did. 3/4 inch Baltic birch plywood. And I just left these highlights here, the natural color. And you can see all the burn detail, like right there, that gets covered up if I put paint into it. But you know, got to give a little, and what happens, happens. These are a couple of serving trays I made out of 3/4 inch Baltic birch plywood. Basically, you can see that I put that paint in there, that magenta paint that I call electric red. I really like that color. And then I just had some fun with some paints and went to town, and sometimes I go over the edge and sometimes I don't. And then I put a tung oil on the top. And this is another one I did, Baltic birch plywood. It's got the bumpers on the bottom, and you can see I highlighted the burns white, I'm sorry. And like I said before, when you put the paint in there and start putting on a top paint, some of the burns, the details disappear, just get covered up with paint. When you take, yep, there we go. Lighting, something like that. A lot of those details that you're seeing right here and over here tend to go away when you put paint in it and paint on top of it. So that's it. Thanks for coming by, and we'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.